Greetings, this is Jim Lindsay. This is a CIS 141 orientation video. Welcome to this course. I am your teacher. My name is Jim Lindsay, and what I'd like to do in this movie is show you what to expect from this course. We'll talk about all the stuff that we would talk about at the first meeting of a face-to-face class. We'll talk about the syllabus, we'll talk about the class calendar, we'll look at the Blackboard site, and I'll try to give you an expectation of what to look for from this course. You know, what should you expect to from me, what should you expect from yourself, and what I expect of you as well. So that's the purpose of this movie. I'm starting here from I have the Blackboard site for the course open, and as it says, let's get started. So what I thought we'd do first is cover the syllabus and the calendar, then come back and do a real thorough look of the Blackboard site. So I'm going to open the syllabus. This is the class syllabus, and you should have a copy of this. I emailed it to you a few days ago. It's available online. It's also available from the Blackboard site, and you should have a copy of this. I recommend that as you go through this orientation, you may want a hard copy in front of you, a printed copy, so that you can follow along with me as we talk about stuff. But let's go through this just like we would in a face-to-face class. What's the purpose of this course? Well, we're trying to get you to where get you to be computer literate, certainly for your work at WKU and hopefully beyond. Hopefully we're going to teach you skills that you'll use at in your workplace, but certainly while you do your 4 years of schooling at WKU. We'll be talking about systems specific to WKU. You have TopNet, you have Blackboard, you have the webmail system that's all specific to WKU. We want to make sure you're very comfortable with those, because if you don't have a mastery of those, then completing your coursework is going to be difficult. So we're going to cover those things in this class. Now, in addition to those, we'll cover your basic computer literacy topics. We'll talk about hardware and software. We'll talk about the internet. We'll talk about websites and web pages. We'll talk about all those sorts of different technologies, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. This is an 8-week summer course, and so we're going to complete this course and we complete every single thing in this course that we complete during the face-to-face class, but we just do it in half the time. And so this is difficult. In my opinion, I think it's difficult, and I like to use the analogy of drinking from a fire hose. You think about how hard a fire hose sprays water out. It shoots water really far away so that firemen can be at a safe distance and put a fire out. If you had to drink water out of that'd be really difficult. And so you're going to be drinking from a fire hose over this these next couple of months, trying to learn all this material. So especially if you're taking another course, if you're working full time, which most people do. So I encourage you to set up get a calendar and put all of these things that you need to do into your calendar, your day timer, and make yourself stick to this schedule that you create, because you're going to have a lot of work to do in 8 weeks. And the good thing is that it gets over with in 8 weeks. You're done in half the time, and you get to immerse yourself in it. You typically don't take more than 2 classes at a time, and so you're somewhat immersed in it, and that makes it easier in some regard. But this is a hard process. You're going to be consuming a lot of information in a very short period of time, and so that's what we're going to be doing. It's also online. We never meet face to face, and so this may not be the ideal situation for you. And if that's the case, that's okay. Just withdraw from the course and take it during the regular semester, where you get more time and you get to be meeting face to face with your classmates and the teacher. But you have to make that decision. So that's what we're going to be doing. Who am I and where am I located? Well, that information is covered here. My office is in Grice Hall, which is in the middle of campus, but I am not going to be there. It's the summer, and I'll be working from home or from the road. So if you need to reach me, you can. You have my email address. It's right there, jim.lindsay@wku.edu, and you have my phone number, 282-5419. And so feel free to email me, feel free to call me if you have questions, and I'll help you out. But I'm not going to go to campus. I don't foresee that happening very much, if at all. So if you need to reach me, that's how you do it, through email or through that cell phone. And if you get my voicemail, which is possible, I could be mowing the grass or doing something, leave me a voicemail and tell me when I can call you back and what your number is. And give me a couple of times when you're going to be available, so I can call you back and tell me which class you're in, because I teach 2 classes this summer. Say, hey, I'm John Doe. I'm in your CIS 141 class, and I'm available here and here, and here is my phone number. And then I'll return your call. So what do you need for this course? Well, let's take a look at those things. You need a textbook, and that textbook is listed, the title is listed right there. It's an older book. It's available from the WKU bookstore if you'd like to buy it there, but I think it's a little bit cheaper online. And it's an older book, and as such, then it's a little, it's not as much as new books, and textbooks can be, just ridiculously expensive. So let me pull this link up real quickly. Okay, I opened up the Amazon.com link that's in the syllabus right here. Open this link, and when you visit this page, you can see that you can rent the book for that amount right there, $34.74, or you can buy a used one, which is another option, $38 right there. You can also you can see like a new book is $159. It's crazy. So I like that we're using an older book. It gets the price down dramatically. If you choose, there's not much of a price difference between renting and buying used. Whatever you feel the most comfortable with, but you want the book. You definitely want to get the book because it contains a lot of really good information. It's well written. I like how the authors present the information to you, especially when it gets to security. It'll say, here are threats that you're going to face using a computer network, threats X, Y, and Z. And then it takes the next step and it says, here's how you mitigate those threats. Here's how you basically protect yourself from these sorts of threats. You take steps A, B, and C to protect yourself from threats X, Y, and Z. And so I think you'll like the textbook. I hope that you'll like it. And it's available from a variety of sources, again, from the WKU store or online from vendors like Amazon.com. But make sure you get that book because you're going to want it. If you're going to work in a WKU computer lab, which some of you might, or if you're going to work in a library or something like that, then you'll probably want headphones, because most lab computers don't have headphones provided, and if they did, you probably wouldn't want to use those. That'd be kind of gross. So if you're going to be using a public computer, you probably want to get headphones, and that way you can hear the audio portion of the videos that you'll be watching on a very regular basis. You're also going to need some software. You're going to need Microsoft Office for Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, and you can get that in a variety of formats. If you're using an Apple, you may have Office 2011. If you're using a Windows computer, you may have Office 2013 or Office 2016. You may have Office 365 that you've gotten through Western, which is great. It's a wonderful program. We started with that about a year and a half ago, and I have a link to it right here. But all of those are acceptable. And the SAM projects which we'll complete, which you'll learn about later, those SAM projects require that you have Word, Excel, or PowerPoint in one of those versions so you can complete the projects. And so that's something you're going to need. You also need a broadband internet connection you need unfettered access to that. What does that mean? Well, it means that you can get to it anytime you want. If you're depending on getting to the local McDonald's so you can get broadband, because Kentucky's a rural state, and I know that a lot of you have gone home to take for your summers to work, and you're taking some online classes, and there's not broadband internet service available everywhere in this state or in this country. That's very clear. But for an online class where you have like these streaming videos, you need to have that access. And so if you're going through, if you're still using dial-up, I recommend to you to drop the course and then take this class on campus. Any kind of online class through dial-up is probably destined for failure. If you have cable, DSL, satellite, I'm sure that's great. You'd be fine. But you need to have that access to broadband internet service anytime that you need it. Also, you need a browser, and obviously you have one because you're watching this. But you need Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, Safari. Any of those browsers would be fine. WKU Computer Labs have everything that you'd need for the entire class. And so if you ever have a problem, you're welcome to go to those labs. And the computer lab in Mass Media Technology Hall, an MMTH building, it's open 24 hours, 7 days a week. And so, with the exception of holidays, and so July 4th, I think, is the only day during this course that it would be closed. But you may not be in Bowling Greens. But if you're in Bowling Green and you are having trouble with your computer or with your software, get in a car, go to MMTH, and you can get your work done. So those are the things that you need. Those are the items that you need. As far as class meetings go, we do not meet face-to-face ever. This is an online course. Instead, all of our interaction will take place online through primarily Blackboard. The Blackboard website is a very helpful website for us to get you lecture content, to give tests, to get information to you, and so that's what we're going to use. There's only one time during this summer course where you'll need to be at a physical location to do something, and that's for your comprehensive final exam. Your final exam for this course is comprehensive, and what that means is it covers everything. So everything from week 1 through week 8 is included in the final. And you have to show up in person with your ID at an approved testing site to take that test. Now, you don't have to come to Western. You don't have to be in the United States. I had a student last year, I think in Argentina or Peru, that completed the course. You just have to set up your final exam through the testing center. And what the testing center will do is they will, you go to schedule your final exam, and you're going to get an email about that that shows you, the process that you complete. You basically say, hey, I'm in Jim Lindsay's CIS 141 class. I need to take my final. And the dates for that are either August 4th or August 5th. You have a 48-hour window to complete that final exam. And then you set up where you're going to take that test. And they will work with you. They are very, very good to work with to help you set up, a location to test from. So that's the process. I wanted to make this note. I think that online courses are harder than regular classes. I think that for a variety of reasons, but primarily when you're in a face-to-face class, you have you have peers that are sitting next to you. You have a teacher that's facilitating and guiding you through the learning process. And with an online class, you don't. You have to have a tremendous amount of self-discipline to get successfully through an online course, and that's hard. It's summertime. You probably want to be going to the lake. You want to go to the pool. You want to hang out with your friends. You probably are working. You may be working full time at this point, and so making yourself watch lectures and they're streaming online and do projects over Office and making websites and making videos and stuff like that. That's not always it's hard to put that at the top of your priority list sometimes, and so but you have to do that with an online course. And so if this type of learning, if online learning isn't if you aren't well suited for that, that's fine, but drop out of the class and take it face to face on campus later. I want you to succeed. I want you to do well, and so from right out of the gate, I want you to know this is probably going to be a difficult course, not so much because of the content, but because of the way the content's being delivered and how you have to make yourself do it. So that's important to know. What are we going to do? What are the parts of this course that you have to do? Well, there are 6 things that you're going to do on a regular basis, and you're going to take something called gateway quizzes. You're going to be reading. You're going to be watching lectures or tutorials like this one. You're going to be completing projects, and some of those are SAM projects, some of those are technology communication projects, and then you'll be taking regular exams. Okay, I'm back. I adjusted the screen. Now, what are these things? Well, a gateway quiz that's new to me too. I'm including a gateway quiz for the first time with you guys this summer. There's a learning concept called spaced repetition, and I've placed a link to the article. It's a Wall Street Journal article that I'd like for you to take a look at. In the first week's material, and what this concept basically says is that if you have like a comprehensive final exam, making people wait until the very end to take that exam is really difficult. So instead, what you should do is you should repeat stuff over a period of time, basically space it out and complete those repetitions often, so that when it gets to like the final exam, that comprehensive final exam, it feels easy. And so I'm working with Mark Champa on this. He's also doing it this summer. And what these gateway quizzes will do, once you complete a module, and you'll understand that once you see our calendar, then before you can go to the next module's content, you have to complete a gateway quiz. And what it does, it makes you answer 20 questions, and it's timed, over the stuff that you've seen in the preceding module or modules. And so by the time you get to the final exam, you shouldn't really have to study that much for the final exams, because you're going to be doing these gateway quizzes throughout the summer. Now, it might be a pain in the neck while you're going through the summer and taking these gateway quizzes, but I think your final exam scores should be really good compared to final exam scores I've seen in the preceding summers. I'm excited to see the results of this, but that's what the gateway quizzes are. It's basically verification that what we just learned about in the preceding week or weeks is staying with you, and that you're still remembering it. So that's what a gateway quiz is. I'll show you what that looks like on Blackboard in a moment. You're of course going to read. We have the textbook that I showed you, and we'll ask you to read. And I'll also have PDF articles that I want you to read about stuff that's not in the text that's also important. We'll have these lectures and tutorial videos that you'll watch. We have SAM projects, and the SAM projects SAM is a website. The SAM website basically is a tool that allows us to verify that you are knowledgeable of Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And I'm sure you know some of the skills that are involved in those SAM projects, but I'm almost certain that you don't know all of it. Everybody comes out of the SAM projects with a better understanding and a better command of those programs. And so that's what the SAM projects are, and you complete 12 of those. There are technology communication projects. There are only 2. This is the only difference between the face-to-face and this online class. I'm having you do 2 instead of 5 that I do during the semester. So the 2 that you do in this summer course, I'll have you create a YouTube video, and I'll also have you create a website, and I teach you how to do those things. And so those are the 2 projects that you'll complete during the 8 weeks, and then you'll have regular exams. And those exams are available for 48 hours. They are timed. You get there are 24 questions per exam. You get 12 minutes per exam. It's 30 seconds per question. That's our policy as a department. That's what we do with online classes. And I have practice exams for you if you want to get trained up before you take those. But about every week or week and a half, you're taking an exam. There are 6 total, and so that's the stuff that you'll be doing on a very regular basis. These from the gateway quizzes down through the regular exams. Lastly, a one-time deal. You had that final exam. We've already talked about that comprehensive final exam. So be looking for the email that will come from the distance education office with instructions on, and I'll also post instructions for you that show you how to register to take that final exam. And again, you'll be able to take that on August 4th or 5th, and you can take that at an approved testing site, and you just work with the testing center to set that up. All right, let's talk about grading. Grading, there are 1,000 possible points. There are actually 1,050 points available. I have 2 extra credit assignments that I put in here, but they come from these points right here. There's a syllabus quiz, which you should take as soon as you're done with this lesson. And then you have the 2 technology communication projects, which I talked to you about. Each of those is worth 25 points. Your SAM projects there are 12 of those at 25 points. And then your regular exams, each are worth 48 points. And then your comprehensive final exam. And so you add all that up together, you come up with 1,000 points. And as I said, I have 2 extra credit projects that you'll see along the way. Each of those extra credit projects are worth 25 points. And those are completely optional. If you want to do those could bump you up another 50. These are the important dates. If you want to get out of this course with no grade at all, a complete refund and all that good stuff, that needs to happen by June 15th. If you would like to drop out of this course, if you'd like to withdraw from this course, basically have a grade of W, you need to do that by July the 8th. And by withdrawing, what that means is that you started a class, but for whatever reason, you chose not to finish it. And there's no shame in a W. I mean, you can have a grade of W in, I think, as many as like 5 classes as you go through your career at Western. And it may be more than that, but if you start a class and for whatever reason you just don't want to finish it, you can withdraw, and that's what that means. With a withdrawal, you don't get your money back, or you get very little of your money back. That's the downside of a W. But if you're taking a course and let's say your workload picks up and you all of a sudden you can't dedicate as much time to the class as you thought you would, or you get a family emergency or whatever else, that W, that withdrawing from a course, can be a good thing from time to time. So keep that in mind. During the semester, when you have like a full load and you're doing like 15 or 18 hours, that's a pretty attractive option. During a summer, when you're paying for every single hour, that's a little bit more expensive, but that's out there as an option for you. How is your grade determined? Well, you need this many points for an A, a B, a C, a D, and so on. So 900 points or more is for an A. And so like I said, if you got 100% on every single thing and you did both extra credit projects and got 100% on those, you would have 1,050 points. You still, to get an A, all you need is 900 points. So and what's nice about that is as you work through the semester, if you work hard in the beginning and bank a lot of points, you won't have to work as hard in the final as if you struggle in the beginning. And so try and get as good of grades as you can from the beginning on, because that will do is make it so that comprehensive final exam can be something that you don't have to work too hard on. 900 points for an A, 800 for a B, and so on. Also, there's this, and this is a really nice benefit. I will automatically drop your lowest regular exam score and replace it with the next lowest one. I've been doing this for a long time. What we learned many years ago is that with this many tests, with 6 tests, somebody's going to miss something. You'll either forget about it, or you won't feel well, or you don't want to take it. But with that many tests, with 6 tests, at some point you're probably going to miss one of those. That's fine. Don't worry about it, because I'm going to automatically take that lowest regular exam score and replace it with the next lowest one. So if you miss one, no big deal. Just don't miss 2, because if you miss 2, then you have 2 zeros on your grade. Or if you get really bad scores on 2 tests, then you'll have 2 really bad scores. But as long as you just do poorly on just one thing, it basically gets replaced by that next lowest one. This does not apply to the final exam. Everybody has to take that final exam, all right? So, and you'll see that just from the point values. The final exam is worth 350 points. And so even if you got like, you did really well and then you just skipped the final exam, you still wouldn't pass. And so everybody needs to take that final exam at an approved testing center, on August 4th or 5th in order to pass the class. And so that's how your grade is determined. If you have questions about that, let me know. But that's the process. Now let me make one last comment on the syllabus quiz. I really want you paying attention to the syllabus and understanding it. You're having a clear picture of what to expect from this course is vital to your success. And so in order for you to see any of the other content for the course, you have to pass that syllabus quiz with a 100% score. You have to get a 12 out of 12 on the syllabus quiz. And you can take it as many times as you need to get to that. But until you pass that syllabus quiz with that 12 out of 12, then you can't see the other content. And also, I think I failed to mention this on the gateway quizzes. In order for you to see the new material, you have to pass that gateway quiz from the preceding stuff, and that's why I think this is going to be such a great tool in helping you do well on that comprehensive final exam. You have to get a score of 75% on each of these gateway quizzes for the next module stuff to open up. And again, while you're doing that may seem like a big pain in the neck, but I think at the end of the semester, this is going to really pay off. I think your class's scores on your comprehensive final exam will be really good compared to preceding sections, just for that reason. So that's the activities you'll complete on a regular basis and how your grade is determined. Okay, let's continue. Much of the rest of this stuff is stuff that we can probably go through pretty quickly. You need to have an email account. I'm going to send you email through Blackboard, and if I send it through Blackboard, I expect that you will have received it and will have read it. And so what you might need to know if you're new to Western, because some of you may be freshmen, this may be the first class you've ever taken at Western Kentucky University, and if so, that's welcome to Western. I'm happy for you. Congratulations. One of the things you need to know about email at Western is that Western will allow you to have multiple email addresses that the university can see, but unless you log into TopNet and you tell TopNet, hey TopNet, I really don't look at my WKU email very much. I always look at my Gmail, or I look at my Hotmail, or whatever other email account instead. You have to log into TopNet and go into your personal information and update the email addresses. Then it can start to forward stuff from your WKU mail to those other locations. So I'm going to assume that you check your WKU email on a very regular basis, and when I send stuff through Blackboard, when I click on Blackboard's email to the class feature, I'm going to assume that you've gotten that information. So make sure that you're checking your email. If you use some other email account besides your WKU email, make sure you get into TopNet and you set up that additional account and start forwarding stuff to it. And you may want to test that for a while to make sure that you're getting your those emails at that other account before you stop checking the WKU email. This is a statement saying, hey, we're going to use the Blackboard website. I think I've made that abundantly clear. If you've never used Blackboard before, well, you're going to be a pro after this class. I'll show you the Blackboard site in just a couple of minutes. The web address for the Blackboard site is blackboard.wku.edu, and you log in with your net ID and your net ID password. So we'll be using that to disseminate information for this course. If you are a veteran or a family member of a veteran, there is a really cool service on campus. It's called the WKU Veteran Resource Center, and you may be able to get support with textbooks primarily, and then other services that they also provide. But check out this wku.edu/veterans website. That's basically a benefit that you've earned through your service, and I love that feature of campus, and so please check that out. I don't know whether they'll have courses for this book, books for this course, but they may, because we've been using the same book for a while. But you could get some help with a lot of courses. So take advantage of that office if you're a veteran or even a family member of a veteran. All right, let's talk about something that is not so pleasant. Let's talk about cheating. If you cheat on anything in this course and you get caught, then you will fail. I've got that lined out here. If you cheat on anything and I catch you at it, then you will automatically fail the course. It happens often. It happens so much that we basically had to implement this policy. And in this course in particular, you'll be most tempted, I think, to cheat on a SAM project. And please don't. Built into the software, into the SAM website, is cheating detection technology. If you got a guy's file from Ohio State from 3 years ago, it would tell me. Say, hey, this is actually Susie Q's file from Ohio State from this particular course, and it would give me all that information. So no single event is worth so many points that it would wreck your grade. The only thing that would totally make it so you can't pass a course if you skipped it would be the final exam. Everything else, you could miss tests. You could miss entire tests. You could miss all of the SAM projects for Excel or Word or PowerPoint and still pass the test and pass the course. So if you get tempted to cheat on something, don't, because the odds are really high that you're going to get caught. And if you get caught, then the penalty is very severe. So if you have questions about that, please contact me. I don't like to punish people like that, but I will. And some people are here because it's happened to them in other classes, I'm sure. I mean, it's frequent. It's a frequent occurrence, and so don't cheat if you feel tempted. Okay, we've got 2 more things to cover from the syllabus before we move to our other documents and the website. The Student Disability Services Office. If you go to SARC and you have some sort of accommodation letter, you need to get that to me ASAP. You need to take a picture of it and email it to me, and then we can talk about it. And also include, if you email it to me, give me your phone number so we can talk about whatever accommodation that you are requesting. And so especially in an online class, this can be it needs to be, we need to figure that out right away, because in a face-to-face class, we're seeing each other 2-3 times a week, and we can work through issues as we need to. But in an online class, man, I need to know about that now. And so if you've got an accommodation form, get that to me and include your contact information so I can call you so we can talk about it. All right, and lastly, the course objectives. What are we trying to achieve with this course? Well, we're trying to get these things done right here. As you look at this matrix, this table, this matrix basically says, hey, at the Gordon Ford College of Business, we're trying to make sure that students are competent with technology. We also want to make sure that they can think critically, and this course in particular is tasked with helping students do those things well. And so how am I going to try and do that? Well, I'm going to try and do that with these activities over here. So as you read through the objectives for the course, these are the activities that I'll use to try and make that happen for you. If you become a teacher, this will be something that you'll probably get very used to. When you create a course, you often are asked to list objectives and then list the steps that are going to be taken to help students reach those, achieve those objectives. And so that's what this portion of the syllabus is for. And that is that. So if you have questions about the course objectives portion, please let me know. But that is the syllabus. And so we're doing well. Let's see what we're doing on time. We're about 35 minutes. That's perfect. What else do we need to talk about? Well, let's take a look at the calendar, because the class calendar is another big thing. You need to know what we're going to do and when we're going to do it. It looks like this. We have 8 weeks of class, and what I've done, I've taken our material and broken it down into 6 chunks. And because the Avenger movies are out right now, like Captain America: Civil War just recently came out. Pretty much everybody knows who the Avengers are, right? The like Thor and Iron Man and Black Widow and so on. And so I've named our modules after these superheroes, primarily because when I do that, I can say, hey, this exam 1 is going to be over everything that was covered in the Thor module. And then you can look in the folder called Thor, and you can say, oh, these are all the things that are going to be covered in that first exam. And so by putting these things into containers, basically these modules, it makes it easier to remember what you have to do and what to study and so have you. So be it. So here's the calendar. These are the modules that we are going to complete, and there are 6 of them for each of the Avengers. These are the class dates, and if there is a quiz or an exam that's going to take place, I have it listed. So you'll see the syllabus quiz, for example, is available from Monday, June 13th through 11:59 p.m. Sunday, June 19th. So, and with this particular, I'll show this to you on the Blackboard site in a minute. This particular quiz is unique. This is the only syllabus quiz you have. It's 12 questions, and you get unlimited time. You can have the syllabus open while you complete it. It may take you a couple of tries, but it's pretty easy. It's over all that stuff that we just spent 35 minutes talking about. And so that's the first thing. So sometime during the first week, you need to complete that syllabus quiz and get a score of 12 out of 12 on it. Now, until you do that, all this other stuff like the computing at WKU, time management, the SAM projects orientation, chapter 1 and chapter 2, that's not going to open up to you until you get that 100% score on a syllabus quiz. So my advice to you is go do that right now, and then all this other stuff is going to be open to you. You can work on it. On Monday, June the 20th, that's when our next module, Iron Man, starts. And you'll see that at the Iron Man, for the first 2 days of Iron Man, exam 1 is going to be open. And with exam 1, this is a regular exam. This is an exam that you complete from home. You could complete it, from any location where you have an internet connection. You complete this exam, and it's that's the one that's timed. It has 12 minutes for the 24 questions, and what it asks you questions about is this stuff in the Thor, all these lessons that you learned about in Thor. That's how you interpret this column right here. The second test, your next regular exam, takes place on Tuesday and Wednesday, June 28th, 29th, and you'll see that it covers all the stuff that you learned about in Iron Man. So chapters 3 and 4, you'll take that test on June 28th and 29th. And again, all you need to do to complete that is be somewhere where you have an internet connection. So you could be at the beach, you could be at home, you could be at a library, you could be at a Starbucks. You just have to have an internet connection, and you take those regular exams that way. This next column, projects due. How do you interpret this column? Well, you'll see during the first week there are no projects that are due, but about midway through the second week, you have your first project due. That's a technology communications project. That's your YouTube project. It's due at 11:59 p.m. Central Time on June the 23rd, and that's why I included these dates, these days and dates here in the calendar, so you can see like where the projects and the tests when the windows are open for the tests and when the projects become due. Your next due date for a project, you'll see, is for the SAM projects, all of the Word projects, all of the PowerPoint projects, and the Word 1 and 2 projects are due on July 7th. That's 6 SAM projects due at one time. That's basically the halfway point for the course. And so what I hope you'll do is look at this calendar and then take each one of these events and do them well in advance. So, like, the YouTube project is going to be due midway through that week. Like, get that done up in here, and then be working on these PowerPoint and Word projects over these first 3 weeks. So come this due date of July 7th for all 6 of those, you'll have those done. Because you'll see as you get to the end of the semester, you'll see that the second round of 6 SAM projects are due on August 2nd. And again, you don't want to wait until the last minute on those things. Get those done in advance. You have another technology communication project due about 3/4 of the way through this Wix website, and there you go. So that's how you interpret this calendar. Now, there's the only thing not on the calendar is the gateway quizzes, and when those gateway quizzes, I'll show those to you next when I show you the SAM. When I show you the Blackboard website. But you have to basically, your first gateway quiz will be, you'll see that when you get to Iron Man, and you'll see another one when you get to Black Widow, and you'll see another one when you get to Hawkeye. But those gateway quizzes, they don't count for your grade. They just basically open up this material so that you can continue to work. And the value of that gateway quiz is basically at the end of the semester, when you take the comprehensive final exam, which is available on August 4th and 5th. You'll be so used to studying basically for this material, because you've been taking these gateway quizzes, that, man, this ought to be cake. This comprehensive final exam ought to be really easy for you. The last 4 days of class I basically reserved for the completion of the last regular exam, and then the final exam that you take at an approved testing center. So that's the calendar. Now, if you have questions, please contact me. And again, contacting me sooner than later would be great, because then I can answer any questions that you may have. But that's the calendar. So now I'm going to skip over to the Blackboard website, and I'll walk you through that. Okay, I'm at the Blackboard website, and you've got the little meme of the kid saying, "Let's get started." This link right here, I've got a link here. This is a link to the video you're already watching, so that's awesome. So how do you use this Blackboard website? Well, if you've never used Blackboard before, let me do this real quickly, get that out of the way. All right, if you've never used Blackboard before, Blackboard is what's called a learning management system, an LMS, and what that allows teachers to do is to disseminate information to their classes, to post things so that students can access the information. There are a number of pages in the Blackboard site, and this will vary from teacher to teacher, exactly what each teacher includes in their Blackboard site. They just, even from within our department, everybody does stuff a little bit differently, but this is how I do it. You always land on the announcement page, and I will try and post announcements often. I'll try to keep you up to date and remind you about due dates and exams and stuff like that. I'll try and just keep you up to date with what you should be doing in the course. And so, we're starting now, so here's a greeting message for you. That's what this page looks like. The instructor information is exactly what it sounds like. If you need to contact me, there's my phone number right there. There's my email address right up there, and this basically says, "Hey, it's summer. I'm not going to be at my office, so call me or email me." That's not me, but it looks kind of like me, so I put a picture of Steve Martin. The syllabus and class calendar, if you want copies of those documents, they are posted right here. And the class calendar it's tentative, so I do reserve the right to modify that if I need to. Let's say for some reason that Blackboard stopped working for some reason. Well, I might have to modify our schedule accordingly. And so this is a tentative class calendar, but unless something crazy happens, and we should stick with that calendar spot on. Like the content, as far as what we're going to cover in each module, that's not going to change. But if I have to change due dates or something, I'll let you know about that through an announcement, and also update the calendar accordingly. basically I have everything for this course done. All you have to do, so all this stuff is here, and you can start to work through it. You have to take the test on specific days, but like all of the homework, you could get the homework done now. Within the first 3 weeks of this class, you could have every single one of the SAM projects done and your technology communication projects done. That'd be excellent. You could get the extra credit stuff done if you wanted to early. So all the material is here for you now, so all you have to do is basically complete it. And the whole point of this page is basically to talk about the syllabus and the calendar. So I'm sorry I sidetracked there, but that's these guys right here. Let's go to the lessons page, because that's where you're going to spend a lot of your time. From the lessons page, this is where you access those 6 modules that we talked about, right? The first module, of course, is Thor. If you go into Thor, you're going to see this folder for a class orientation session, and you're completing it right now. Basically, the link for this video is not displayed on this page. I'll do that in just a minute. So by the time you guys look at this video, there will also be a link to this video that you're watching. This is that article that I mentioned to you a moment ago. It looks like this is a Wall Street Journal article, and it talks about this whole concept of spaced repetition and how employers are using this concept to make sure that employees are actually retaining information for the workplace. And so, we think, hey, it's a good idea to use it in education as well. We send a lot of stuff their way, but they also send a lot of really good stuff our way. And so that's the article I mentioned to you a moment ago about this whole concept of spaced repetition. So that's what's in this Thor module right now. But actually there's like a whole bunch of other stuff, but you just can't see it because I'm logged in as a student and I haven't taken the syllabus quiz. Well, where's the syllabus quiz? It's right over here. If you look at the folder for quizzes and exams, click on that. There is a syllabus quiz, and this will continue to be there until 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, June 19th. And so what you have to do in order to get the rest of that content to show up in this Thor module is complete that syllabus quiz. So I'm going to pause this. What you click on the syllabus quiz and it says, okay, you ready to start this quiz? Yes, I am. And then you come down here and you answer these 12 questions. All right, so I'll do that real quickly. I'll pause it while I do it, and I'll show you what the results of that would be. Okay, I took it. I got 12 out of 12, so I got 100% on my syllabus quiz. So now if I go back to lessons and look in Thor, go back into that Thor module, bam, all this other stuff shows up. So that's what you have to do, okay? In order to see all these other lessons for the Thor module, you have to get 100% on that syllabus quiz. Now, each of these other folders contains, let's go to like chapter 1 as an example. You'll see in chapter 1 there is a little block of instructions at the top telling you what to do. There is a that's a link to the actual video right there, the tutorial, the lecture video. Then there's a document that we use, some articles that are involved in that lesson, as well as my PowerPoint slides. And so you'll see stuff like that for each of those modules. Let's go back to the lessons page, because let me show you the gateway module, what that looks like. So let's say it's now, you've completed all the material for Thor. It's June 20th, which is like Monday, June 20th, and I go to Iron Man to start working on it. And I don't see anything. All I see is this gateway quiz for Iron Man. Well, what you have to do is you have to complete this gateway quiz for Iron Man in order for this other stuff to show up right here. It's 20 questions, and you get a 15-minute time limit. You could have your book open, but with this time limit, that would be tough to actually look stuff up. So it's going to push you what it's going to ask you questions about is the stuff that you just learned about in Thor. Same thing, like let's go to Black Widow. That's the next module. When you get to your gateway quiz for Black Widow, in order to see this material for Black Widow, you have to pass this gateway quiz, and this gateway quiz is going to ask you questions about Thor and Iron Man. And so that's where these quizzes come in. So let me jump back here to Ironman, and I'll click on this link for the gateway quiz here. Hey, you got 15 minutes for this. Again, I'll click on begin, and I'll take this real quickly, and then I'll come back to show you what it looks like when you're done. Okay, so I completed it. I got 19 out of 20 on my gateway quiz for Ironman. So now if I go to Ironman again, ta-da, everything shows up. All right, so that's the process with these gateway quizzes. You know, on your first day, you want to work within a module, a new module. You have to pass that gateway quiz at 15. You have to get basically a score of 15 or better on it in order for this material to show up down here. That will progressively get harder as you go through these modules down here. But again, I think that's going to pay off greatly for us, for you guys, and for me when you guys get to that comprehensive final exam. So that's the process. Okay, let's look at our next page in the Blackboard site. That's the SAM projects page, and it looks like this. And you're going to learn all about how to use this page with your SAM orientation, which is part of the Thor module. It's about the third thing you do. You do this orientation, and then you learn about SAM. So that's everything you need for SAM is located on this page of the Blackboard site. And again, you're going to learn details of that from your SAM orientation and then your SAM training. There's another page, the Technology Communications Projects page. Looks like this. And you'll see there's a folder for your first project, which is due the June 23rd, your YouTube project. When you click into that folder, you'll see that there are instructions for you. There's a tutorial that I made right there. And then there's a link here that's talked about, as well as the instructions for the project itself. And so, again, this is the Technology Communication Projects page. You have two projects. This one's due, each of these is worth 25 points. This one is due on June 23rd, and this one is due on July 21st. And you have that calendar. Don't forget you have the class calendar here to help you remember when each thing is done, and this will help you with your time management as you work on this course. Lastly, we've got the quizzes and exams page. We've already looked at this, and you've looked at the syllabus quiz. I showed you that just a moment ago. But there's also a folder here for practice exams. You don't have to use these at all, but if you want to, you can. So as let's say you're working in an Ironman module and you want to get some practice with, for the test. Well, if you open up this folder, there are 6 practice tests in here, and these don't count towards your grade, but basically you can take these tests as many times as you want. There's no time limit. And each time you take it, you're going to see different questions. And what this will do is this helps you prepare for the stuff that's included in the Thor test. This helps you prepare for the stuff that's in the Ironman test. This helps you prepare for the stuff that's in the Black Widow test. And what I've seen in my face-to-face classes is, and without exception, the students that complete these optional tests do well on the actual module tests. So if as the week or week and a half is going by, as you're getting ready for a test, go through and take these 2 or 3 times. And again, you're going to see different questions every time you take it, and whether you score well or don't score well, that doesn't matter. You're seeing potential questions that would be part of the Thor test, the Ironman test, the Black Widow test, and so on. And so when you get to the actual real deal for the real module test, you're comfortable with it and you've practiced it. And so those are out there for you just as an optional resource for preparing for those real tests. Now the real module tests are going to show up right here. Basically this one will disappear at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, June the 19th, and then on Monday, June the 20th, the exam 1 is going to show up and be available for 48 hours. And so you'll see those appear right here on this quizzes and exams page. All right, and I think, look at the time, woohoo! Regular classes last 55 minutes, so man, we're right on it. that's what I have for you for this orientation. If you have questions, please contact me. You have my contact information. You have my email address and my phone number. Let me know what questions you have. I look forward to working with you over these 8 weeks this summer. I hope that you'll enjoy it. I hope that it's going to serve, the information will serve you well. Thanks for your time and attention, and have a good day.